My mother-in-law just had to use a coffee filter as toilet paper during our Sunday brunch, and honestly, it was the absolute best revenge I've ever gotten on my entitled sister-in-law. My husband's sister, Chloe, is 28, and she's been crashing in our guest room for 3 months to find herself. Every time she stays, my Sephora bill goes through the roof. At first, I let it slide. She'd use a pump of my lotion or a squirt of my expensive shampoo, but then I started noticing the good stuff disappearing. I'd buy a $60 jar of night cream, and a week later, empty. I asked my husband, Jake, about it, and he just sighed and said, "She's family, babe, just let it go." So I let it go. Then, last week, I had a massive corporate presentation coming up. I had pre-ordered this incredible $150 hair mask, the kind you leave in overnight, so you look like a glossy superstar the next morning. It was sitting on the bathroom counter, unopened. Thursday morning, I walked in to take a shower. The jar was in the trash, completely scooped out. I marched into the living room, my heart hammering against my ribs. Chloe was sprawled across the couch, her muddy sneakers on the coffee table, watching TikToks at full volume. Her hair was wrapped in my silk towel. I stood between her and the TV. "Chloe," I said, my voice shaking just a little bit, "did you empty the jar on my counter?" She didn't even sit up. She just rolled her eyes, popped her gum, and sighed. "Relax. My ends were super dry, and you have like a million products." "That was a $150 treatment," I snapped, my voice rising. "It was unopened, and I needed it for my presentation tomorrow." Chloe scoffed, finally sitting up and crossing her arms defensively. "Well, excuse me for wanting to look decent in the house I'm stuck in. You guys make plenty of money, you can just buy another one at Target." "God, you are being so dramatic over conditioner." "It is not just conditioner," I yelled, finally losing my cool. "It's the blatant disrespect in my own home." Right then, Jake rushed into the room holding his hands up like a referee. "Whoa, what is going on out here?" I pointed a shaking finger at his sister. "She used my entire luxury hair treatment, the one I bought for tomorrow." Jake looked at me, looked at Chloe's smug face, and then he actually stepped between us. He grabbed my arm, pulled me into the hallway, and lowered his voice into this sharp, condescending whisper. "Babe, stop," he hissed. "My parents are coming for brunch tomorrow. She has been having a hard time, and she is family. Do not make this a massive thing right now. Just let it go." And in that exact moment, the switch flipped. The anger just completely evaporated, leaving nothing but ice. I didn't scream. I just smiled a dead, empty smile and said, "You know what, Jake? You're right. I won't make it a thing." That night, at 2 in the morning, I crept into the guest bathroom, and I took everything. I packed up the plush towels, the bath mats, the hand soap, the Q-tips, and every single roll of toilet paper. I even unscrewed the shower head with a wrench. I put it all in 3 garbage bags and locked them in the trunk of my SUV. Then I went to the gas station on the corner. I bought one single scratchy roll of 1-ply toilet paper and a travel-sized bottle of cheap men's body wash. I left them on the empty counter with a little sticky note that read, "Help yourself." The next morning, I left for the coffee shop at 7. At 9:30, Jake's parents arrived for brunch. At 9:45, my phone started blowing up. Jake called me 7 times. I answered the 8th. He was whisper yelling into the receiver. "Where are the towels? Where's the toilet paper?" My mom just went to the bathroom and she had to use a coffee filter. I took a slow sip of my latte and said, "I packed up my things, Jake. Chloe has had 3 months to buy her own soap. I figured she could handle it." He gasped. "You took the shower head? You told me not to make it a thing," I said, entirely too calmly. So I removed the things. There was a long, heavy pause on the line. Then I heard his mother's sharp, booming voice in the background. She was demanding to know why her 28-year-old daughter was leeching off her brother and draining their bank accounts for luxury cosmetics. I ordered a blueberry muffin, tipped the barista $5, and by the time I got home, Chloe was packing her bags.